If you read in the book of James, you will see that the author of James writes that there is only one judge. There's only one lawmaker, and that lawmaker, that judge is God. And then the author of James goes on to write, who are we to judge our neighbor? So this morning, I want us to think about that for just a few minutes. Who are we to judge our neighbor, and who are we to judge God? I would like for us to look within ourselves, each of us, because again, remember, we all place blame and we place judgment. Even when stupid, silly things like hot water heaters burst, we blame somebody. Sometimes we blame other people and we place judgment on situations and on other people because we don't want to deal with the stuff and the guilt that we have going on inside. In fact, when we feel guilty and when we feel like truthfully we've got a part to play in something, then I think you'll find that we end up blaming others even more. And it gets in the way. And so this morning, that's what I want us to push back a little with. The fact that perhaps maybe God judges us differently. We do know that, or we believe that God is a judge, and that when this life on earth here is done and we complete that process, that journey of life, and we are at one with God, we have been atoned, we find ourselves at one with the presence of God, that there is a judgment component about that. And we find examples of that in the scripture. Later on this summer, we're going to do a brief series on the afterlife, and we're going to talk about the actual judgment day and what scripture says about that and heaven and hell in a different message series. But this morning, I really wanted us to walk away with perhaps a little bit of a broader understanding of how God judges us. Because I think if we would accept that perhaps God looks at creation and humanity differently than we do in our pain and in our guilt, in our anger, in our doubt, then maybe we would understand the heart of God a little more. And maybe if we would understand the heart of God a little more when we find ourselves in the middle of all of those circumstances, we would have a different perspective on how we live through them. Because that's the ultimate goal, right? That when we face the worst things, that they don't become the last things.